Legend tales of a place where the booze flows freely and the stories are always entertaining. If you are bold enough to seek out such a place, head 13 miles down the Tuscan Highway to a tiny blues joint known as the Townsmith Tavern. Once there, enjoy the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and Bowl.
Excuse me, you can't say that. You're gonna lose your family-friendly rating. You're gonna corrupt the kids.
BS! A podcast that invites you to grab a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. And here are your hosts, Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder.
So these guys build, like, when they build to an actual pay-per-view, they are putting all of, like, these are big matches. These aren't just the feud of the month. These are big matches. And with that, Kidder, we should run down the all-out card and make some predictions.
Let's do it.
It's going to be hilarious because I don't know who most of these people are, and I've also been drinking quite heavily.
Well, I mean, I made it through this IPA, and that's the only alcohol I've had since the last show that we've done, and I still don't know most of these people. So there's that. Let's start at the top with somebody I know and somebody I don't know. The person I know is Christian Cage. This is for the AEW World Championship. Oh, that reminds me, as a quick side note, I was elated when Justin Roberts was fired from WWE. If you don't know who that is, that's the ring announcer. Used to be for WWE. You know, John Cena. Okay.
You're giving him far more emphasis. He's like the used car salesman of announcers. It's much more of like that slick, like, coming to the ring, John Cena. Like it's used car salesman.
Cena.
And I like John Roberts as a person, and he wrote a very good book about his time in the WWE. But
Justin Roberts.
Yeah, I'm
because John Roberts is an award-winning journalist, so you don't want to get him too confused.
Howard is on his like third beer of the night. I no longer
Howard's becoming a lightweight.
Howard
no pain in your slip.
But
good.
But I also am like when I ran down to get my notes, Kidder, I was a little floaty. This is
perfect. Yeah. So it's going to be a good end of the episode here. The reason I bring him up is because he is the ring announcer for AEW. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Now I gotta listen to this crap again. So it's like, Christian Cage. Please stop. Okay. So, AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega, the current champion, versus Christian Cage, who is holding the, what the hell is the Impact Championship or something?
He's got the TNA Impact World Heavyweight Championship, which he won off of Kenny Omega.
And so, I'm going out on a limb just because I mean, why not? Christian Cage picking up the victory in this match.
That is going out on a limb. I know you don't know Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, for a while in the wrestling scene, was considered probably one of the best wrestlers in the world. He made his name in New Japan, where he, I think, was the first and again, this is highly intoxicated Howard, future Howard, save me. But I believe he's the first non-Japanese winner of the G1. If you don't know what the G1 is, it's a incredibly brutal, and not in like a hardcore match way, but incredibly brutal tournament that happens in New Japan Wrestling, and never has there ever been somebody who's not Japanese who has won that. He's the first to ever do it. I'm going to take Kenny Omega. He's also a great lover of video games and often will reference video games in his entrance. I think Omega is going to continue. I think he's the flagship of AEW. I think that they didn't put the title on him right away because they didn't want you to think that just because he's one of the elite, he's one of the VPs of AEW, that he was going to get a title right away. I think they're just, I think this is his official title run for that.
But he is all elite.
He is, but like he started off on an incredible, like the first year of AEW, because their stats reset. His first year in AEW, he lost a lot. So I think this is like him finally getting to be the champion and that flagship star that they wanted. So I'm going Omega. Sure. I think that they gave Christian Impact. I think Omega is keeping.
Probably. I just like Christian. So
I like Christian too, but I don't think he's going to beat Omega. But I think it's going to be a hell of a match. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. The match of the night for me is the in-ring, full, actual, true wrestling return for the best in the world, CM Punk. He's taking on Darby Allin, who's paired up with Sting right now. Apparently, Darby Allin's pretty crazy in the wrestling ring, so we'll see how crazy he gets with CM Punk. And this is also taking place in Chicago. And now, if this were a WWE pay-per-view, I wouldn't be able to go with CM Punk because the traditional, he's in his hometown, we got to make sure that he loses, that sort of thing. So I'm going CM Punk.
Yeah, I think it would be a terrible mistake for them to have CM Punk lose in his debut match. AEW
time.
Yeah, has shown some great booking. I think that they will definitely have CM Punk win the title to clearly, send folks home happy, because truthfully, I'm going to guess that CM Punk Darby Allin is the second to last match of the night. I don't think it's going to be the main event. I think main event will definitely be Omega and Christian. Omega is currently a heel. If you're going to send people home with the heel winning, you're going to want them to be going, but Punk won. And yeah, I just don't think you beat Punk on his first night out. That said, Darby Allin is an amazing talent, and this match is going to be phenomenal.
And you can buy an ice cream bar if you are at the, whatever the hell the place is called now in Chicago. You can get your ice cream bar. It's not, Unity Center? I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Chris Jericho versus MJF. Now, Jericho added the stipulation that if he loses, he never wrestles again in AEW, and he takes his seat on commentary. And he even had an interview with good old JR this past week, basically calling out MJF, saying, you got to be your best if you really want to take me out. You beat me twice. Doesn't mean that you're going to get a third victory over me, because it's been driving him insane. Your thoughts? Oh, I picked Jericho, by the way.
Yeah. I'm going to go MJF. I'll be a little bit controversial. MJF has been a fantastic heel in AEW, which I should clarify. If anybody's wondering, Howard said he doesn't watch this stuff. How does he know this?
He knows all this. He's a phony.
Howard used to listen to the Post Wrestling podcast, another phenomenal wrestling podcast if you wish for more far in depth. And they used to cover Dynamite, and so that's how I have gained some of this knowledge, at least about these. As we get further down the list, I'm going to get a little bit weaker because they weren't big names then. But MGF has been a phenomenal heel. Like, he started off as Cody's like right-hand man, betrays Cody, and actually will give Cody 10 lashes in the ring. That was a very controversial and very brutal segment that happened on Dynamite. But he's been on a fairly good streak. He's already, as you said, beaten Jericho twice. I think these guys are willing to do it. I think that they are willing to let MJF win and let Jericho sit on commentary. And if you don't believe me, this is the same company that in one of the first pay-per-views of it, Cody Rhodes actually wrestled with a stipulation that if he lost, he would never challenge for the AEW World Championship. He lost. He cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship. So, that said, these are guys who are willing to put these stipulations down and let that happen. So, I'm going to go MJF just to be different on this. But he's been a phenomenal heel.
In their callback to late 90s WCW, MJF actually ripped off Jericho and wearing the shirt of MJF to Jericho 0. If you remember that from back in the day when Jericho was, I can't even remember who he was wrestling, but basically as an extra thumb in the eye for Jericho.
Yeah, and
brought that back.
It'll be interesting to see if Jericho comes out just as Chris Jericho, or if he actually comes out in the Painmaker version of Jericho. Again, Kidder, I know you haven't followed some of this stuff, but
it's where he has face paint, right?
Yeah, I mean, not like heavy face paint. It's a little bit of triangles under his eyes, but it's kind of like the more brutal version. It's like when Mick Foley goes, "I'm not going to wrestle as Mankind. I'm going to wrestle as Cactus Jack." That's the difference between Jericho and Painmaker Jericho. So it'll be interesting to see which version we get.
Next match, I don't really know a whole lot about, but it is for the AEW Women's Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who is the current champion, versus Chris Statlander. I don't know if it's Chris or Krista Statlander, but
it's Chris.
It is Chris.
Yep. Well, drop the T. Chris Statlander.
Okay. Chris Statlander. There we go. I blame the site that I ripped the card off of. I don't really know a whole lot about either of them, but Britt Baker is supposed to be really good, so I will go with her.
I'll put it up in the best summary I can of this, Kidder. In a world where a dentist can wrestle an alien, who will reign supreme? Because that is what this is. This is a dentist versus an alien.
Is this the lady from Brazil? Or wrong alien?
I don't know.
Wrong alien. Okay, gotcha.
I think Chris Statlander comes in as like from Alpha Centauri. Is where she hails from. I'm gonna go.
It's a great place in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Statlander. She's on a fairly good winning streak. Britt Baker is phenomenal as a heel dentist. I mean, let's face it. There have been heel dentists before, such as Dr. Isaac Yankem, which was Kane's debut character. But she's better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say anything against that. I'm gonna go Statlander. Give the face the win. So
all right. On to the AEW Tag Team Champions of the World, the Young Bucks. I've heard and seen a lot of talk and posts and whatnot about the Young Bucks and how good they are and this and that and the Young Bucks, and I believe it. I mean, they. I know I haven't seen them wrestle, but the Lucha Brothers put on one hell of a clinic on the past episode. So with this one being in a steel cage, and I do have to say, they ended the episode of Dynamite on a note where so-and-so's backstage and he got the remote for the steel cage. Let's put this thing. They're putting it down. And of course, they're beating the crap out of people in the middle of the ring, including Christian. Christian was in the middle of the ring getting his ass whipped. But the help came from the back, and of course, they're trying to climb up the side of the cage, and the people inside are throwing the chairs and knocking them off the side and whatnot. They have these giant steel beams on the four corners of this structure. If you didn't want to get hit, climb up the damn side, go on the top where you're over the top of everybody else, and then jump in on top of them. It's the same thing as, I'm on the cage, now I gotta climb this fast just to make it more dramatic. Like, it's the same level to me. So I thought that was incredibly stupid. This one, I know on a tangent there, I will go with the Lucha Brothers.
I'm a big fan of the Lucha Brothers, both Pentagon and Phoenix. Phoenix is phenomenal. Talk about a guy who should have a future singles title run. Phoenix is phenomenal. These guys were some of the ones who, when the AEW was first kind of starting building a roster, I was so excited for. These guys had matches on the first All Out and phenomenal matches. So I want to see the Lucha Brothers win. The Young Bucks are good. They are flip monkeys and such. This will be a phenomenal match. These guys have fought each other before. So and to some excellent matches. This will be a painful match. It will. There will be stuff in there that you will see and you will go, ooh, that hurts. But I think it's time for the Lucha Brothers to win. These guys are too good to not ever hold the titles. So I want to see them win. That would be my pick.
All right. Next one for the AEW TNT Championship, which is, to me, the WCW Television Championship. Miro, who, of course, we will crush, is the current champion. Taking on Eddie Kingston in this one. Some interesting vignettes for this. That's pretty much all that I've seen. Basically, Miro has been crushing it over there. So I will take Miro.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Eddie Kingston. So I don't have much to say on him. I know he partners often with Jon Moxley. I'm going to take Miro. I'm glad to see Rusev getting his due. Talk about a guy who was over but never really given the chance. So I'm glad that he's getting it here. So more Miro.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. Next one, speaking of Mr. Jon Moxley, he is in a match against Satoshi Kojima. Now, the interesting thing, and I don't know what the hell the build-up to this was, because I just saw the one vignette where he gets this letter in the mail, and he talks about how he sent out all of these invitations where he will fight any of the Japanese greats, and the only person who had the balls to send him a signed contract for the match is Satoshi Kojima. We'll see. He's supposed to be one of the Japanese wrestling greats, and so we'll see. But I'm still going with John Dean Ambrose Moxley.
Yeah, Moxley is currently holding a title from Japan. Because that's one of the interesting things about AEW. They do allow their wrestlers to go elsewhere. So if you maybe you've heard, Christian is the TNA champion. and I believe Moxley is currently the U.S. champion for the IGWP. So there's that. Yeah, Kojima has had a long career, but I think it's got to be Moxley. Yeah, I don't know who else I would. Well, truthfully, I just want to see Moxley do well.
He's undefeated right now, as far as I can remember. Seeing again the status show up for 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's been on a good run, and I think he's getting the run, and I think what we are getting in AEW is the Dean Ambrose that we all so desperately wanted when he returned in WWE and never got. And I think we're getting it now, and I'm enjoying it. So I'd like to see more Moxley. So I'll pick him. Not to say anything against Kojima, but yeah.
Does it make your heart sing? Just a question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Next matchup is, it's Paul White and QT Marshall. An interesting piece of info here is, it's going to be tough not calling him Big Show, but Paul White got attacked in the ring by the ass man himself. I know. Yes, it's a very, very, very long callback to the New Age Outlaws in Jesse James and, of course, Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. So Billy Gunn and the Gun Club. It's Billy Gunn and his kids, which is a very interesting shtick for a stable. Again, a group of people with similar interests. Freaking WWE. They came out to help Paul White, and then Billy Gunn picks up a chair and whack! I'm like, holy crap, I've been watching this long, and it wasn't Paul White or Big Show who did a heel turn. It was somebody else. But whoever QT Marshall is, it is what it is. I will go with Paul White on this one.
Yeah. This is one. Again, I'm a little... I don't know a lot about QT Marshall. So it's hard to say. And it's hard to say because there's two ways that you can do Paul White, right? You can have him come in and put over new talent as a way to kind of help build them and such. Or you can book Paul White like Andre the Giant, which is something that they never really pulled the trigger on WWE. Andre the Giant was undefeated for a long time, and he didn't always wrestle for the title. And so there's always this thought, because that was, in WWE, you always have to have the one giant, which is part of why we saw Braun Strowman fired from WWE, because there are now people who are taller than Braun Strowman. So it's kind of hard to have him be the monster among men when there's somebody taller than he is, like Omos. So it's interesting. I don't know which way AEW is going to go. So coin flip on this one for me, and I'll take Paul White. But I could easily see QT Marshall winning as well. It just kind of depends on what direction they want to go with him and how they're going to use him. So,
yeah. And it's been interesting, to hear him and a little bit outside of the standard Big Show character.
Mm-hmm.
Next match, apparently they at least have 21 women on the roster. I don't remember the number that you said 20 minutes ago, but it's going to be at least 21.
Yeah, I said 18. But again, here's the interesting thing about AEW. Not everybody who wrestles on an AEW show is under contract with AEW. they are more than willing to bring in somebody from, say, Impact and just have them on the show. So just for that clarification on that. And as I said, this is a couple of weeks old, and I know that there's been some changes and some additions and things like that. But just to say that is something that they are not beyond doing, is going, oh, hey, you wrestle for Impact? Great, we have this partnership. Why don't you come be part of this battle royal? Because we need more people.
Yeah. I noticed a couple names on there, looking at it. It's going to be very interesting to see. But according to the information that this page had, and I don't know if it's how the show is or if there's going to be something, different, but Leva Bates, Fabi Apache, Priscilla Kelly, Nyla Rose, and Shalandra are the first entrants or something. I don't know if this is
so
the Casino Battle Royal from before or what. But
I don't know. The way the Casino Battle Royale works is they kind of come out in groups. So think of like Royal Rumble, except a little bit more groupy, I believe. I haven't actually seen a Casino Battle Royale. But that's,
so it'll be interesting for the both of us.
Yeah.
Okay. But Penelope Ford, Shaza McKenzie, Sadie Gibbs, Big Swole, Dr. Britt Baker, Tenille Dashwood, Ivaless, B. Presley, Brandy Rhodes, who, again, I didn't know that she was wrestling right now because I thought that she and Cody were, because I haven't seen Cody Rhodes or Brandy Rhodes at all. They have their own TV series debuting soon. Awesome Kong, Allie, Nicole Savoy, Teal Piper, ODB, Jazz, Mercedes Martinez, Nyla Rose. Never mind. That's some other information. So, again, maybe this is old information from a different match, but at the same time, it could be any of those women. It could be none of those women. Really, we'll end up having to see. The one piece of information is this past week, the 90-day no compete clauses expired for people from WWE who were released. Two of them of note being Lana and Ruby Riott. I'm like, where is it? Getting late, the brain's not working as much. So Ruby Riott, right? So how about what good way or piece of info, since she's now able to compete in other competition of a television-oriented theme, what other place would be a great place for her to debut than in a 21-woman Casino Battle Royale and potentially win the damn thing?
Yeah.
So she's my pick. We'll see if she shows up. We'll see who else is in the damn thing, because who knows?
Yeah, I matched you with Ruby just because I always liked Ruby Riott and thought she never got a real break in WWE. To clarify, because I looked it up here, the Casino Battle Royale is a modified Rumble rules battle royale that features 21 entrants. It begins with a group of 5 wrestlers, and every 3 minutes, another group of 5 wrestlers enters, while the 21st and final entrant enters alone. The wrestlers are grouped based on the suit they drew from a deck of cards: spades, diamonds, clubs, or hearts. And the order of when each group enters is based on a random draw of the cards. The 21st and final entrant is the wrestler who drew the Joker. The winner receives a World Championship match of their respective genders division. There you go. There's the rules of a Casino Battle Royale.
We'll see how those rules come into play on Sunday. So we'll see. All Out AEW. Geez, I almost said it there. AEW All Out 2021 was last Sunday, and I had some network issues and was running behind a little bit, so I did not catch maybe a third or half of the show. However, the half that I caught was awesome. So we, of course, went down the list and did our normal predictions. So our verification, should we start on that?
Oh,
what do you say?
I mean, sure, we can run down the list.
All right. So on the top of our list here, next in line, was the main event for the evening, the AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega, taking on the Impact World Champion, Christian Cage. I chose Christian. Howie chose Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega retained in a quality match. Next on the list, for the first time in over 7 years in an official capacity of actually wrestling as CM Punk, CM Punk returning for Clover Time! And Darby Allin, the opponent in this match. That was a hell of a match. Fantastic. CM Punk, of course, pulling off the victory, so both of us picking up a point in that. On the other one, as I said, Kenny Omega, Howie picking up a point in that match. The next match on our list was a barn burner of a match. I actually sent you a text of this match is awesome or something like that, because it was really good. Chris Jericho and MJF. And I can't remember what his initials stand for off the top of my head, but it said on his lower third graphic at the bottom of the screen that was up for 3 seconds and then disappeared. So I blame that. And this one, if Jericho lost, he was done wrestling in AEW. He would retire and hit the commentary table, and then that was it. They did a great job of going back and forth, really playing on that, weight of, like we talked about last week. Is this going to happen? Is it, it's not out of the question. He could lose and be done wrestling. Jericho picked up the victory in that, and I pick up a point in that one. I caught the end of this match. AEW Women's Championship, which the holder is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus the alien from another universe, SETI Alpha or something like that, which, of course, resides in the Star Trek universe, Chris Statlander. And Howie picked Statlander for the victory, and I picked Britt Baker, the dentist, to retain, and indeed, Britt Baker picked up the victory to retain there. Next one, I did not catch this match, so I cannot tell you how good it was, but everybody, on the forums and things that I follow said it was a phenomenal match. They pulled out all the stops, kicked the crap out of each other. This was for the AEW Tag Team Championship of the World. The champion Young Bucks against the Lucha Brothers in a steel cage match. Both of us picked the Lucha Brothers, and we both pick up a point as the title changed hands over to the Lucha Brothers.
That was an amazing match. I'm going to say I did manage to catch that. I didn't get to see really any of the pay-per-view. I caught some highlights here and there. I did find a version of this match out there, so I was able to watch watch that. It was a phenomenal match. So excellent, just excellent. So,
and they said that they worked hard and not broken bones quite at that point, but they fought Claude and got beat up along the way to get to where they are. And so anybody else who wants to take the titles, well, they can expect the same, is essentially what they said. So, and then they said, come and get it. Next match on our card is the AEW TNT Championship. Miro, your TNT champion, against Eddie Kingston, and both of us choosing Miro and choosing correctly, both picking up a point in that match. The next on the card for us, Jon Moxley and Satoshi Kojima. This one, again, I don't have a whole lot of history watching this product, and so even for me, it was kind of out of the blue, but I saw a couple photos from it. Good match there. Moxley picking up the victory. Both of us picked Moxley, so both of us getting a point there. And then after the match, Jon Moxley ended up getting beat up by another Japanese wrestler, and I cannot remember his name at this moment, but they had a match this past Wednesday on Dynamite, which I haven't gotten to yet either. So get to there. It's supposed to be good as well.
Yeah, Suzuki is who came out. So yes.
Yes.
They have a history of they've had some matches in the past. So I will say, Kidder, and this is one of the things, I know you didn't catch all of it, but this to me is a great example of something that doesn't really happen much in WWE, except for maybe at the main event. But here you had this set up kind of like the next program, the next bit of the story at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like WWE, a lot of times like the pay-per-view is the pay-per-view, and there's no real continuation unless usually it's the title picture. Like we saw here at SummerSlam where like Brock Lesnar came out and challenging Reigns and that setup stuff. But they're more willing to do that here, kind of in their pay-per-views, which I will give them credit for. That's it's nice.
It was really good. Last match, or I shouldn't say the last match, but I saw this match. It was the second to last match. Paul White and QT Marshall. Of course, we both picked Paul White and picked correctly. He did a great job. First time that he has wrestled in 16 or 18 months, something like that. He's had 6 surgeries, and I didn't know this, but something like 6 or 8 surgeries in 12 months. One of them being a major hip repair surgery. So all the best to Paul White. And obviously he's done a lot to recover because he can still wrestle. So there's that. I did not catch this match, but it was supposed to be really good. I can't even tell you all of the people who were involved. However, both of us, with the information that we got on the down low, that Ruby Soho, or perhaps as people may more commonly know her as Ruby Riott, debuted as the Joker, the final card or entrant to be drawn. And her entrance music is Ruby Soho by Rancid. If you're not familiar with that, Ruby, 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 you can check it out. I don't want to sing too much because we don't have any money in case we get sued by Rancid. So we'll put it in the comments or something. And Ruby picked up the victory, so she has that title shot for the AEW Women's Championship. So that should be cool. Then, just as you thought it was great and the finale of the show, let's go back to where we all started talking about this. Kenny Omega, Christian Cage. Kenny Omega and his clan are beating up Christian. And as they are beating him up, Kenny Omega gets a microphone and starts talking about, how good he is and how awesome he is. And then all of a sudden, music hits, camera points to the ramp. Here's Adam Cole, baby, walking down, and I'm going, holy shit. I thought he was pretty much guaranteed to be signing again with WWE for a main roster, like, headline level push. No, he's on AEW with Kenny Omega and all of that. So they're having like a love fest, having this, Adam Cole's here. You thought that he was against me? Nope, he's over here now, and this and that. And then all of a sudden, yep, Bryan Danielson and his man bun are all elite. Yes, there he is. He came down to the ring. He's got a little bit of like I don't want to say dubstep, but they did a remix on the Flight of the Valkyries for him, which doesn't quite fit him, but something to work with. And he ended up fighting a skirmish there at the end, and that's pretty much how that show ended. So he was also on Dynamite. I haven't got to that point yet, but again, I got goosebumps watching the damn thing. I'm like, this is the old, like, holy shit moment. Like, this is cool.
Yeah, and it's one of those things because AEW only does 4 pay-per-views a year. I mean, they really do build up to it, and they really do make it a thing and a moment and all of that. You mentioned Adam Cole coming out. Yeah, they gave him the rumors that I'm hearing is the idea that they pitched him for a push in WWE was to be the manager for Keith Lee.
What? Okay. I would have left too.
Yeah, that was their thing. He wasn't even going to get to wrestle. It was going to be very much like Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley all over again. Which was terrible.
Yeah.
I think everybody can agree the Lio Rush, Bobby Lashley time was terrible.
Yes.
So that was kind of what they were pushing or at least offering him, and I think he made the right choice in walking because it's clear, WWE right now is very much on a kick of you got to be the biggest guy. If you're not the biggest guy, you can't be champion. Even though they've had small champions in the past who have done amazing things for them, they're on a big guy kick right now, and so Adam Cole would have gone nowhere. And Adam Cole is an awesome talent. He's been dominant on NXT. He's phenomenal. And he could very easily be a champion on AEW. And that's just an opportunity he's not going to get ever at WWE. So it makes sense. Makes sense for him to jump, even though I know he liked working with Shawn Michaels on NXT. That doesn't surprise me. And Bryan Danielson doesn't surprise me at all. I think everybody knew he was coming and such. So, yeah. And I know a lot of people are concerned about kind of all this talent inflow. I will say AEW does a very nice job of when these guys do come in, make them big, they make them special. But a lot of times, thanks to the whole faction thing, you get to see these guys partnered up with younger guys. I mean, you have Christian Cage running around with, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and, and Marco Stunt,
And Taz has his own faction with a few people who called out CM Punk on Dynamite. Yeah. Taz called out CM Punk, and so that's started a feud with CM Punk and 4 guys, or 5 if you include Taz.
Yeah, I mean, so you're seeing that. I mean, Jericho with his inner circle, they're all kind of unknowns, or at least were unknowns to me, but it's kind of nice that they're taking these veterans and tying them into the younger guys so that they are working with the younger guys, and it's building new talent, which is what you need to do, right? Jericho's not going to wrestle forever. Christian Cage isn't going to wrestle forever. CM Punk is not going to wrestle forever. It's nice to see them getting to do stuff and hopefully help build that next generation. So, also in AEW news, Cody Rhodes is going to be returning. So
that's right, my son, Cody Rhodes. He's going to come back down to the ring and he's going to talk.
Yep. So,
Cody Rhodes' boot was just used on Wednesday with Malachi Black against Dustin Rhodes. Is interesting little feud there, kind of out of nowhere. But that was a good match. I mean, it's very interesting. And I think maybe that's what it is for me, because it's so tired, or I'm so tired of the same sort of thing. I like getting what I expect, but you're getting more. A little bit of here, a little bit of there. Let's just try, what up? So that's what I'm totally fine with. So it's, and again, I think that part of it is that new, figuring it out of what is this product? What is this all about? So there's a little bit of that new factor, the new thing on the block. But they have a lot of people that I liked watching when they were in WWE. So go from there.
Well, and if all rumors hold true, it sounds like Bray Wyatt will be showing up as well once his non-compete is up. And the other big rumor flying around right now is come January, Kevin Owens' contract is up with WWE. Mm-hmm. And it sounds very much like he's looking to go to AEW.
How cool would that be to watch him wrestle CM Punk?
I think that would be good. I like Kevin Owens. I wish they would pull more of the trigger with him. He's entertaining.
He knows how to talk on the mic. He knows how to cut a promo. He knows how to hold up a group. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to make a 5-star match. The guy is just quality. And just because he looks like he's 300 pounds, even though he's not, let the guy do his thing. When he had those opportunities as Universal Champion, I thought it was great. I thought that he did a great job. That's just me. Who am I? Just a host of a podcast to all 5 people listening. So thank you for watching or listening to our podcast wherever you may be right now.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty.